All life is only a set of pictures in the brain, amongst which there is no difference betwixt those born of real things and those born of inward dreamings. Who knows the end? What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise.
And welcome to 30 and Nerdy. I'm AJ.
And my name is David.
And today, if you didn't know, we're going to be talking about the Call of Cthulhu.
Now, is that how you pronounce it?
Well, you can say Cthulhu or Cthulhu.
I always get that mixed because there's so many letters in there that make no sense about being in there at all.
So when Lovecraft, it's
Cthul.
It's Cthulhu. Cthulhu.
I was going to end up spelling like Mississippi or something in there.
Well, when Lovecraft originally wrote The Call of Cthulhu or Cthulhu, however you may pronounce it, he wrote these to be not... The human tongue isn't supposed to be able to pronounce these names, so that's the closest that we can get to pronouncing these names, because there's like Fanewa,
But anyway, the game looks quite amazing, like we were talking about earlier, which with the magic of the internet will be coming out later. But we kind of mentioned it a few times on 30 Nerdy's Afternoon Delight.
Sure did.
And I like a few things about it. It's gorgeous. You can tell that it's not a AAA game, like I said, just with like the voice not matching up with the lip syncing. But the voice acting is amazing. At least I think so. I like the voices in it a lot. Some of the background characters kind of suffer from that chat wheel fatigue, where you just get a lot of the same information over and over and over, and sometimes like the background characters who you aren't talking to will just keep on saying the same stupid asinine thing over and over and over again. But those are small little details. Surprisingly, it took a long time because it's set in the 1920s. And you're a detective who's kind of on the ropes and needs this case, so he goes to Blackwater. Blackwater?
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong on that, but somewhere water, and I believe it's up in like a Maine, New Englandish area. And you're sent there to find out what happened to this guy's daughter and child, and I believe husband maybe, because they died in a fire, and it was supposed to be set by the daughter, because she's a painter, and she always drew all these kind of dark, otherworldly things, or that's how she saw the world.
Yeah.
And I believe she was touched by Cthulhu, or touched by the madness that is
Cthulhu.
Yeah. And so it looks really good. The level design, I kind of, as I was watching it, you kind of bounce all over the place. It looks kind of static, but there's a few places that are really amazing, and I love. And it's you can see a lighthouse out in the distance, and it actually moves around and does lighthouse things. But it just looks really cool and really ominous because it's very foggy.
Yeah,
very dark.
which I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah, and so it looks really cool. I enjoy that it takes a lot from the RPG pen and paper to where you can level up certain things like strength or lockpicking, your perception abilities. And so it allows you to do different things and allows you to attack different problems in different ways. Like, because I remember you're supposed to be able to, your character wants to go into this warehouse that was owned by the lady or is storing her stuff or something.
Yeah.
But there's another lady who's watching it because it's her turf, basically. And so there's several different ways
Get
you
off
can.
my turf.
It's basically what it turns into.
Turf war in a Lovecraft story.
Kind of.
What kind of Lovecraft story is this? No, I'm gonna be upfront and honest about this. I've done as little research as I could about this game because I plan on playing it, and when I play it, I want to go into it
knowing nothing.
That's what I would like to go into
going
it blind.
dry.
Yeah, pure raw, no lube.
But that's why I like doing that with games, just because it's a lot more fun to not have it. While I don't mind it being spoiled, like if somebody comes up to me and is like, he's dead the whole entire movie of Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis is. While that would ruin it for me, I probably would still watch it and then be like, oh, he is dead. Nobody's paying attention to him. Which, if you haven't watched The Sixth Sense, I'm sorry, I just ruined the movie for you. But it's been like 20 years, so get over it.
And give it a watch, because now you'll have an even greater in-depth idea of what's happening.
But I just enjoy it. Looks pretty good. Looks amazing. I won't say pretty good. It looks amazing. And I think the guys down at Cryotech, I think it's Cryotech, whoever made the game, did an amazing job with it. The thing I also liked is that they started doing some ad spots on the very beginning of No Sleep, which I thought was really cool, in later season 11.
For what?
I'll call it Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah, it's because they actually have a contest going on to win a copy of the game.
Oh, so that's who you entered through?
Yep.
Okay. I gotcha. But everything I've seen so far, the other thing that surprised me was that it took such a long time because the very first part of the game shoots you into the other realm. I don't know what they call it within the mythos of H.P. Lovecraft.
They don't really have a name for it.
So we'll just call it the other.
Okay. I guess they sort of do. It's the Dreamlands.
Okay, so I believe he's in the Dreamlands because there's a tentacle dude in there somewhere. And then he comes back to present day, and then you go, you meet the father, and you go out to the island, and you start looking around for clues. And the thing that surprised me was that it took a really long time to actually get back to where you went back to the Dreamland. Because, I mean, when you think of Cthulhu and the Call of Cthulhu and the mythos and the whole entire thing, you kind of think of that you're always going to be entrenched in this cosmic horror instead of that it's a lot like you're playing Sherlock Holmes just with Cthulhu as the overarching baddie of the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
The other thing I liked is that I think you can have combat, because I thought I saw a gun in one of the plays, but it doesn't seem to be a very heavy emphasis on it. I mean, it's a lot of like detective work and looking for clues and seeing, because you can do this thing where your screen will start to do something, and then you can the guy hit both mouse buttons, but I'm assuming it'll be like 2 bumpers or something like that, and then you will start to be able to see more clues and different things. Like you'll have like basically, for the Sookie Stackhouse readers out there, it'll be like an ectoplasmic reconstruction where you kind of see the crime has happened, or you'll see like, here's this body here, and then you look at a clue, and then there's another clue over here, and it kind of gives you a little backstory, and you can keep on going down the rabbit hole. So that's everything I've seen so far and read about. It looks amazing. It doesn't look like my type of game that I'd like to play, but it looks like the type of game I would like to walk over. I'd like to drive over to AJ's house sometime when my family is gone and just sit down and watch him play it for hours.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the game that AJ would like to play and I would like to watch. Because I'm a voyeur.
Ooh, yeah, you like to watch.
But the other thing that do you have anything else to add to Call of Cthulhu besides that you're excited for it?
I am super stoked about it. Everybody should know that I'm a huge Lovecraft fan.
I still have never read any of his stuff. I need to.
I've read every single one of his racist, crazy, and insane stories. And even though he was a terrible racist,
he can spin a web.
I still love his books. Not really books, but short stories, because that's pretty much what he focused on was short story writing. Until you pretty much hit the endless dream quest of unknown Kadath. So that one's thick and hardy and dense. And he's a hard writer to get into. Like he writes in a way that makes you not want to read it. He's very prosy. He's very thick with prose. So I don't know. But
by the way, I mean,
his ability
to make a mythology and a universe is amazing and far-reaching. I mean, because he was in the early 1920s, 1900s.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that was really. I mean, there was Bram Stoker and Frankenstein's monster.
Bram Stoker was alive around that time.
Mary Shelley.
Yeah, Mary Shelley was alive at that time.
So I mean, they kind of all.
Robert Chambers was alive around that time, and the thing is that he was an avid letter writer, and he would write to all of those people that you're listing, and they would talk amongst each other about their stories and their influences. And
see, I would love to be able to. I mean, of course they're dead, but I would love to be able to have that kind of sit down and just the kind of cross banter that would happen.
Yeah,
because I mean, it's kind of because the only thing I can in my mind put it together would be like the Star Trek captains when they all sat down on one of the events for 2 hours, and it just was one of the greatest things in the world, just because you love hearing from Janeway and from Picard and from Sisko and from whoever Scott Bakula's character was. I can't think of his name because I never watched that one.
I can't remember.
But I mean, just being able to get into that kind of, or just like when you had Stephen King and George R.R. Martin talking. And,
that was just funny, though.
And just having two titans and just kind of how they write and how different the process for each of them was.
Yeah, most definitely.
But that would be just, fly on the wall or be able to read those notes. But the other thing that we talked about in 30 and Nerdy's Afternoon Delight that we'd like to talk about today is RTSs. Because since BlizzCon is over, and we're recording this before we have seen what they've kind of announced for World of Warcraft in its future, either going into the past or what it's going to future expansions and all that kind of jazz, is that they're re-releasing Warcraft 3 Reforged, which I assume just means all of Warcraft. And I've seen some pictures because I loved the first one. I loved the kind of RPG element of having Arthas Menethil and finding different things and being able to, get Uther Lightbringer's hammer. And then you can use this potion and this thing. But the characters are completely different. Like of course, because it's going to be a remake.
Right.
And so it's going to look completely different. But I'm super excited for that. And so we kind of went back and we're thinking, because we love the new RTSs.
Yeah.
Just because they're always fun. RTSs are some of the most fun things to play.
Company of Heroes.
Company of Heroes was amazing. Never got it, but back when they had those demo discs from like a PC Gamer, I played the same stupid level over and over, and I sucked at it. So usually I would make it to the end and then still get killed, but I'd lose everybody in my company.
So do you remember Nolano?
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought it for me. He's Steam gifted it. He's like, everybody should own this game.
But I'm trying to think back in my history of RTSs. What was the turn-based Orion something or other?
I don't know.
Either way, I was terrible. I didn't like that kind of RTS where it was very turn-based, like you did this and this and this and this. But I enjoyed more the Dawn of War. That's a newer one inside the RTSs as far as what we're going to talk about. Because the very first one I played was, of course, Warcraft, Orcs versus Humans, I think.
That's the first RTS you ever played?
I think that's the first one I played.
The
then
first
RTS
I ever played was one called... Oh, man. I can't even remember the name of it anymore, but it was pretty cool. I didn't really understand what I was doing at the time, but it took off at the same time that StarCraft took off, and it was very much like the aliens that you fought in it were bioorganic organisms. This one came out around the same time as StarCraft, and the aliens in this one were also organic. I wish I could remember the name of the RTS, but I just can't. I tried Googling it, and it didn't come up with anything. So, but it was tons of fun, and I didn't really understand what I was doing. Soon after that, I played StarCraft for the first time, and my friend installed it on my computer for me, and at that time I was still running a 66 megahertz. Not even a Pentium 1, it was just a 486.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you rich kid! I had a 386.
I don't know.
No, I had. That's why I was calling you a rich kid, because you had 100 more megahertz than me.
Well, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I mean, not megahertz. Whatever.
Hertz.
Yeah.
I only had 66, maybe 80. No, turbo button 88 megahertz. So maybe it was an i386. I don't remember. What I do remember is that the game did not run very well. Like, you know how the turrets are supposed to spin the whole time?
Yeah.
Mine would do like quarter turn, stop, quarter turn, stop, quarter turn, stop, quarter turn, stop. And it just was not very well. But the one game that did run very well was the original Command and Conquer. And Command and Conquer are the games that I, as you would say, broke my teeth on, because that was my shit.
I think, because, it was Warcraft. And then Warcraft 2 is the one where I actually played it, did well with it. Of course, all my friends, because I really did a lot of basically just Age of Empires 1, Age of Empires 2.
Mm-hmm.
But all my friends had, like, the Command and Conquers in 1995, Command and Conquer Tiberian Sun, Rome Total War, which I like the idea of Rome Total War, but I just don't like the whole, like,
I never liked
democracy side of it. I just like to fight.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the battles of that. But I just don't like when they take you out of the battle and then you have to try and send troops to this place and be diplomatic about certain things and who you're going to fight and all that kind of thinking 10 steps ahead. Just, I want to fight.
Yeah.
I'm an orc.
My friend Jacob's very adamant about RTSs, and like he goes way in depth into them. Like he got me one called Sins of a Solar Empire, and you're able to install a Star Trek mod onto it. So we were playing the Star Trek mod. Yeah, and you're able to take control of like Enterprise D, Enterprise E, and other major galaxy starships, and then the smaller ones, and do battle with Romulans and Klingons. It was really cool. But it was the learning curve on it. It's just like flat, boom, there's a giant wall, And I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who's played this and they're like, you just suck. And the truth is, I do just suck. I am a very turtley player when it comes to RTSs. The guy who is still building, basic units in StarCraft when you send over all of your big old giant carriers full of swarm bots, and you're playing Protoss, and I'm still sitting there with level 1 science. That's me. Level 1 science guy.
See, I'm the same way. I turtle. I like to play in groups though. So like, I remember when Dawn of War came out and we were all still playing WoW, and we were in Angst. So Brian had it, I had it, and another guy who lives in Ohio had it, Phil. And so we were all playing. We were playing 3v3 against 3 other humans. And so I just played Space Marines, and all I did is I just gathered a ton of stuff, and then all I did is just built turrets all the way down our whole entire thing. So that way we had like our base was just covered in turrets and missile pods and all this kind of jazz. Because I don't know. I like to attack, but I tend to... it looks a lot like the pro tournaments where you throw everything you have at them and then you know you're going to die, so then you just quit. Which I think is always the dumbest thing, because I figure in a tournament, if you're there, then you should be a good sportsman and just wait to the end when you have nothing left and you actually just get killed instead of just quitting. Which seems like the oddest thing to me, because I was watching something on Huck and somebody else and their rivalry that they had for like the StarCraft 2 esport scene.
Yeah.
And then they kept on, like, somebody would be losing and then they would just quit early. And it just seems like the oddest thing in the world to me.
It's just so weird. Like, you can always, well, maybe you can't. I don't know. We're not professional.
I know, but I mean, it's like they rage
players.
quit, basically, is what happens. Is they're just like, because the announcers would be like, oh, and Huck just quit. And it just seems like the oddest thing. I don't know, maybe it just feels like that they're rage quitting and they're actually not. That's just the standard practice, or I don't know. Probably the standard practice, but still, feels like a rage quit. Which seems like a big hissy fit for an adult.
Yeah. That I will agree with.
But I think some of my favorite RTSs still have to be, because I used to do stupid stuff with my RTSs. Like I would take Age of Empires, I think it was 2, where you could just go into the editor. Maybe it was 1. I think it was 1. And my friends and I would just build. We'd be like, Hercules, 500 Hercules on one side. And then we do like, the old Greek myth things of fighting Hercules against like Medusas or whatever you could put in there, and just like spending 20 minutes just tapping and getting new unit, new. Just have a whole, and then just watch them fight.
Yeah.
So it's basically like what YouTube does with some Deathclaw videos or whatever that guy is, BRT videos or whatever, where he just is like, here's Liberty Prime versus 60 Deathclaws. Who will win?
That guy's awesome. I love that guy.
So I was him before YouTube was around. I just did it with Age of Empires.
Just think of all that YouTube money. You could have been making all that big YouTube money.
Darn it.
Damn it, David.
I need to go back in time and talk to my 6-year-old self.
Yeah.
Learn to edit videos. Nub.
What's a nub?
Yeah. Now, let's see here. I have... Dawn of War is probably my favorite one as a series, just because I love 40K.
Mm-hmm.
So Dawn of War 1, I think, is probably one of my favorites as far as just gameplay. Dawn of War 2, I like just because you get to play a ton of different factions, and then it's basically kind of like Risk, because you take different parts and you get special bonuses for taking certain things.
Yeah.
And then I still haven't played, because I still haven't beat Dawn of War 2. But there's Dawn of War 3, and I've heard it's not as good. Or no, excuse me. I'm way off on my... So Dawn of War 1, there's one of the expansion packs that has the Risk-like thing. Dawn of War 2 is a lot different RTS than normal.
Yeah.
And so, but people still like it. Dawn of War 3 is apparently a huge dumpster fire that nobody likes, and is like... Because every once in a while I'll see these posts in the 40K groups like, this is the thing that will save this game. You just need to send this to developers, or to the developer, and show them that they need to do this to fix the game. And it was like, it's dead. Stop trying to, just go back and play Dawn of War 1. It's a good game. But so I enjoy the Dawn of War series. They also have the Battlefield Gothic, or Battlefleet Gothic, excuse me, and that's like the huge Space Hulk spaceships that they have.
Oh, nice.
And you can kind of battle it out. I mean, just like an RTS, but in space. With giant spaceships.
There was some RTSs that I used to love playing too. Of course, there was the Command and Conquer games.
Command and Conquer is, and as we said, best one is
Red Alert 2.
Red Alert 2.
But I do have a warm spot in my heart for Command and Conquer 3. There was a really, really, really fun Star Wars RTS that I used to play where it had space battles and it had ground battles, and it was tons of fun. I can't remember the name of it, though. It was Star Wars something.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But I loved it, and it was fun. And then the one that I loved that I didn't know anybody else that played it, so I just played it single player, was Rise of Nations. And Rise of Nations, I will forever love that game. That game is just so much fun to start off in as cavemen and then go all the way up through into space age. It was just super fun. I loved it.
The one that I was awful at that was just like that is the Rome Total War, or not Rome Total War. I don't know why I have Rome Total War on my mind. Civilization. That was the game where I just was awful at. I could not get my pacing down. I couldn't. There's so much to do.
I sucked at Civ too. Don't feel bad.
Well, I think I have one of the Civs on my Steam account, but
I do.
It's not getting installed.
Do too.
Yeah, it was $60. I'm never getting back.
I don't think I paid for it. I think it came in a humble bundle.
Humble bundle.
Humble bundles.
Okay, so if we were to we'll throw out something that we probably both played. And what your favorite? Were you like a StarCraft? Who'd you like to play?
Protoss.
See, I like the Terran. I was never very good with Zerg. So.
Oh, I sucked ass with Zerg. My Terran would be my number 2. But Protoss.
Yeah, I think Protoss was. I think Terran was just like the basic bitch of StarCraft, and then Terran. Protoss was kind of the. I don't know, depending on who you talk to, but Zerg and Protoss for kind of what the skill levels that you needed to increase to be able to play those and play them well.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Terran, you could just kind of fart around and still be fine.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Warcraft. Did you like humans or orcs?
Orcs.
I liked orcs as well. Though if we got into like Warcraft 3, I like the undead.
Ooh, yeah.
Because then you got all those dragons that you could just shoot over, and then you got all the cool, what were they? Not trebuchets, but catapults that just shot like bones and gore and stuff like that. That was awesome.
Hell yeah.
I like that. Plus,
dude, I love that game. I can't wait to play it again.
I know, I'm
in renewed glory.
I know. Just think, Lady Sylvanas and new HD remaster.
Woo! That was a bit crazy.
Then Age of Empires 2. Sorry, not 1, because I don't remember who's in Age of Empires number 1.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Who would you pick as like your nation?
Oh,
that you
I
like
never
to fight
played
with?
Age of Empires.
You never played Age of Empires 2?
No.
Okay, my favorite. I kind of depended. Either I loved, I think it was Japanese because I think they had the samurais, and so I'd always just get like one troop, which is stupid because you needed to kind of have many troops.
Many troops.
And I would just be like, these are cool. I want these guys, and so I just build a whole entire army of samurai that would just either get taken out or take out. But then the other one was I loved the English because they had the longbows. So I just built bazillions of those guys. And so unless they sent like a ton of people at me, they would just get mowed down because there's like 30 bowmen It'd be like, right. Moving on to the next thing. The one RTS I cannot stand, and that's mostly because it's on consoles, is Halo Wars.
Yeah, fuck Halo Wars.
I probably would like it. I just don't like. There's something about not having a mouse and keyboard when I'm playing an RTS.
It may change because Xbox is bringing mouse support.
Are they?
Mouse and keyboard support.
Oh, awesome.
So the divide between console and PC gamers becoming even closer together, so there really isn't going to be a divide anymore. Now it's just going to be
PlayStation and PC, Xbox One, or Xbox, whatever.
Xbox, Xbox Xbox.
And also, I almost forgot a huge one, but Command and Conquer. Who would you pick in that one?
Which Command and Conquer?
Let's go with Red Alert.
Red Alert? Oh, always play Soviets.
See, I'm a basic one. I like the Americans. I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it just.
The Iron Curtain was badass. The Tesla coils were badass.
Oh, I forgot about the Tesla coils. Those are so amazing.
Those are so cool because I can still remember in my mind just like the little animation of them getting shocked. And then the music in that game had Hell March. One of the best songs to ever come out of an RTS. If you can find Hell March and insert it right here.
Right here?
Yeah, this is the song I'm talking about. I love it.
And I believe that going back to what you had previously talked about, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds.
That sounds correct.
I never got into that one, and that's surprising because I had a friend who had it, and I also loved Star Wars when I was in high school. So I don't know why I never bought it, but...
Oh, that is weird.
And now it's passed me by. But you can get it on Steam for $5.99, so go get it, folks. But all of this to say, we're excited for Warcraft 3 Remastered or Reforged or whatever they're calling it to come out. Because Warcraft 3 probably is one of my favorite, in my top, since there's so many games in each line. Like, I mean, because Red Alert had Red Alert 2, Red Alert 3, and probably some, 1.5s in there, I think.
Right.
You had Dawn of War and the 4 expansions for that one before you went to Dawn of War 2. And then you had Warcraft and all the subsequent sequels that came with that. But Warcraft 3 has to be one of the... Because, I mean, that kind of almost... That spawned what we now know as the MOBA. Because in Warcraft 3, they had a kind of MOBA-esque thing where you could, because Brian and I played it, where you could pick a hero and go through these dungeons and stuff like that and resurrect each other. And so it was the precursor to the MOBA as we know it today, because then somebody used the engine and stuff like that and came up with not Heroes of the Storm, but Dota. Defenders of the Ancient.
Yep, Defenders of the Ancients.
And then they spun off and did their own thing. And then, of course, Heroes of the Storm came out. And since a lot of people are wanting Blizzard to remaster all their old games, I think that's the perfect one to go for. I'm hoping it's not going to be a ton of money, $29 maybe. I'd really like it if it was like 14, 19, but I'm sure it's probably going to be about 29.
$20, 20 to 30 would be all right.
Yeah. I would like 15, but
especially to replay, like, because that game's big.
and I'm also hoping it's not going to I'm hoping it's going to be like Warcraft 3, and then was it just Frozen Throne was the second one, or
Yeah.
okay. And that also shooting back, I mean, when you were playing
Sorry, I'm looking at the Blizzard website.
No, you're fine. Because that also reminds me of when we were playing World of Warcraft, because I'd just gotten off of, like, I played those, and then you kill Uther Lightbringer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you get to the higher levels, and then you're able to go to Eastern Plagueland, and whose grave is there but Uther's. And then you also have the throne room if you play on the Horde, which still annoys the crap out of me that I'm thinking that the Undercity has been taken back by the Alliance, which makes me angry because I love the Undercity. That's my favorite place.
I'm pretty pissed, too.
Because I love sitting in that throne room and just hearing the whispers.
Oh, yeah.
So good. And so you have that. And then all of a sudden you get the lore brought back into World of Warcraft and being able to fight the Lich King that you turned yourself into. So I loved everything about Warcraft. I love the lore. I love the gameplay. I like the variance in units. I like that you didn't have a lot of like giant units or anything like that. You just had your basic run-of-the-mill grunts, sorcerers, bows, heavier units like the catapults and stuff like that, or dragons. But it was a lot of fun. And I think it's the perfect thing right in the wheelhouse for Blizzard Classic games to come out with. And it's supposed to be out next year. I don't know if they have a specific date, but I know it's next year sometime.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
But I think that's really all I have for RTSs, besides to say that they're fun. You should play them if you don't.
Everybody should play RTSs. I completely agree. I love RTSs. Like, I just don't get the chance to play them. That's my main downfall.
I feel that they take that need, like playing Fallout, where I have to hoover up everything. And I can do that in RTSs and a lot easier, because all I have to do is just build something and chop some wood or mine some gold or whatever. The other thing that I also love about the Warcraft series, because my friends and I used to do this all the time, and I think it was Warcraft 2, where if you kept on tapping on like the orcs and be like, oh,
me no like.
Yeah. They just you just
me not that kind of orc,
and they would get annoyed. I love that you, and I don't even know if anybody knew to do that. They just they did it and found out, and then all of a sudden it spread like wildfire. Of course, that was really before the birth of widespread internet. I think you had your AOLs and your stuff like that, but I think that's all I got for my RTSs.
I don't have anything to say.
But I will say, if you are lucky enough to go to BlizzCon, I hate you a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit jealous. Tomorrow, AJ gets to go to
Ghost.
And I'm super jealous. So next week we'll be hearing from him and Brady about that concert. Because then also that weekend they're going to Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse.
So that'll be fun to hear about. AJ's going to be on the floor, so I expect to hear some good mosh pit stories about how he got kicked in the face.
I'm not moshing. You can't pay me to mosh. I just can't do it anymore.
I will keep my eyes peeled Monday morning for local Des Moines man gets trampled at Zach Trice Stadium.
Super fat guy. Somehow got trampled.
Well, this has been 30 and Nerdy. My name is David.
And my name is AJ.
And you guys have a wonderful week.
Wonderful.
Me not that kind of orc. Poke, poke, poke. Is that all you do? Ooh, that was kind of nice. Me so horned, me hurt you long time. Flash! Ah! Soylent Grey is made from trolls!
I say y'all gonna make me lose my mind up in here. My hoof and your ass have an appointment.
Got milk?